we're going right over here. So all this you see behind me all used to be the Aral Sea, giant inland sea, the world's largest. And it all dried up just to grow this. All right, so here we are in, where are we?
Uchtepa.
Uchtepa. It's near Jizak, all right? And right behind me we see a Soviet mural made in probably the 1980s showing cotton, all right? And you might know a little bit about Uzbek cotton, but it's been here for about 2,000 years, all right? And basically under the Soviet Union, they boosted the shit out of production. It went up to 70% of all cotton production from the Soviet Union was in Uzbekistan. They harvested so much cotton here that during the 1980s, the Aral Sea, this giant inland sea that used to be one of the biggest in the world, more or less dried up, all right, because of bad irrigation practices and so forth. It's considered one of the biggest environmental catastrophes in the modern era. And it was all to produce this. And so later on in this trip, we're gonna be going to the Aral Sea and see the legacy that cotton has given to Uzbekistan, which has boosted its economy, but also destroyed a major inland sea. The Aral Sea is located in the autonomous region of Karakalpakstan, which is in eastern Uzbekistan. So in order to get there, I first had to fly to Nukus from the capital city of Uzbekistan, which is Tashkent. Karakalpakstan flag? Karakalpakstan flag. In Nukus, I met a local guy who would tell me about the Aral Sea.
Hi guys, my name is Jeka. I'm from Karakalpakstan. In 1960s, Karakalpakstan was flourishing because the Aral Sea was full. We have enough fish in the Aral Sea, and the fish factories, can factories, they were working. A lot of people were working on that factories because the main means of living was fish. But from 61 it started drying, and in 1984 it was impossible for fishing in Moynak, and a lot of people, they left their homes.
And then after the Aral Sea dried up, then the
Yeah.
the chilas got worse, like much worse.
Yes, because used to, I have heard from my granddad and the old people, they say that the climate was like wet. Now it's really dry country.
Whoa.
Because when there is wind, there will be really dust, like fog. You can see like more than 5 meters. I will show you. That's why the wind spreads the sun and the salt through the city.
That's crazy. So it used to be like green over there.
Yeah,
There's a green area.
During the summer we have some kind of period we call chilla, and in this period it lasts like 1 week or 10 days, and during this time the temperature can reach 70 degrees Celsius, and
So
it's really hot, like boiling hot, and the wind is also like from the oven.
So I heard that there was like a project to get water back into the Aral Sea.
Kazakhstan has announced that the northern part of the Aral Sea has seen a major increase in its water volume, nearly doubling since 2008.
Try to make the Aral Sea come back. Do you think that's going to happen?
I'd say there should be a kind of magic because it costs too much.
Again. Oh shit, here he comes. Me and Jekka drove around a lot in Karakalpakstan, and the next day I was bound for the Aral Sea. To get to the Aral Sea, it was pretty straightforward, but it was a really long journey. I first had to get up really early in the morning, take a taxi over to the bus station in Nukus. From there, I was able to catch the one bus a day over to Moynak, which was about a 4 or 5 hour journey through some extremely desolate landscape in order to get to Moynak. From Moynak, I then had to catch a taxi over to the Aral Sea Memorial. All right, so here's the monument for the Aral Sea, showing what it was in 1960 before it started shrinking. And over the course of 40 years, it's pretty much disappeared. So I'll turn this around. So here we are at the boat graveyard, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about virtual water. So basically, everything that we do as humans, everything that we make and create takes water and takes energy. And of course, this also is crops, right? So cotton is an incredibly water-intensive crop. In the 1960s, the Soviets decided to start growing loads and loads of cotton in Uzbekistan. 70% of the Soviet Union's cotton came from Uzbekistan, and basically using the rivers that flowed into the Aral Sea, they irrigated them into growing cotton to the point where only 5 or 10, maybe 15% of the river's water body, like water mass, was making it to the river. And basically, as you can imagine, the lake started drying up really, really fast. Over the course of 20 years, it went from being a navigable lake where you could fish into being unnavigable. And it's a tiny bit saline. There's a little bit of salt in it. So all the fish that were remaining, once the water started disappearing, they all died because the water got too salty. So no one could fish here. The lake wasn't deep enough to keep boats on. So everyone left all their boats behind. Many of them have been scrapped for scrap metal. This is especially true in Kazakhstan. So these are a few of the ones that are left over. They've been dragged here as like a memorial. And the Aral Sea is probably one of the biggest man-made catastrophes, environmental catastrophes of the 20th century, maybe of all time. I mean, this was the biggest inland lake in the world. It'd be like one of the Great Lakes dried up. And what's scary about this is, well, the fact that this whole region got completely dismantled, but also the fact that this is also happening in the Caspian Sea right now. Scientists and ecologists don't really know why it's happening, but they're assuming it's for similar reasons. And I was at the Caspian Sea about 2 years ago. The water came right up to the shores of Aktau, the city that's over there. Now there's pictures coming from that region where the water looks to be about 100 to 200 meters away from Aktau, meaning in just 2 years the water's receded 2 football fields. So history repeats itself, and now we see this apocalyptic scene of these ancient, they're not even ancient boats, they're like 30, 40 years old. They're sitting here rotting because of bad environmental management practices to grow a whole bunch of cotton. That is crazy and very depressing. Now, another thing that happened with this mismanagement is because they were pumping so much pesticides and herbicides and so forth into growing cotton, the sand here and the dirt became kind of toxic. And because of the high wind, because there's nothing holding the wind back, it's just a big flat desert now, this stuff is like kind of cancerous. So it's also really bad for the people that live here's health. All right, we made it on top. Pay homage to these boats and the industry that used to be here. I've brought up some fish in a can that looks like it might even have a picture of when this was the Aral Sea. Not quite sure, so I'll open it and we'll eat some up on top of this boat. These are, I think, anchovies, but I'm not sure. Oh my god, it looks rough. I'll show you inside. Boy. Alright, here's a nice old chunk. It's fish and tomato juice. It just tastes like canned fish. Very gamey though. Alright. Here's to the Aral Sea. The land that used to have fish. Alright, so decided I'm going to leave this can of fish up here as kind of like a hope and a wish that maybe someday the Aral Sea will come back. There are projects happening to redivert rivers to try to get this thing to come back, but the prospects are pretty slim to get an entire inland sea to come back. So over here, we can see the National University of Uzbekistan II Educational Foundation. And behind me, we can see where they're kind of growing saplings to try to plant out here to stop the sand from blowing into the cities and stuff. I think the sign on this boat says it all. It might say fuck piss, but I'm thinking it says fuck this. Like, fuck this. Why did we do this? Why did the Soviets fucking do this to not just this lake, but their own people? It's fucking dumb. Fuck this.
Как город-красавец в пустыне возник, как синее небо сметнулись дома.